Hi, I'm K-Sound Kaiju, and today we're gonna talk about if Mortal Kombat characters had Pokemon partners. Welcome to If Mortal Kombat Characters Had Pokemon Partners. In this series, we'll look at characters from the Mortal Kombat universe, and piece together a team for each combatant based on their personality, attributes, achievements, and so on. For this vid, we'll stay within the realm of characters that were introduced in the very first Mortal Kombat game, but as time goes by, we'll look at other characters. The rules for this vid are that the Pokemon on each character's team will range 5 members max. Some characters, however, may have less than that, with the minimum being only 1. All Pokemon given will either be in their final stage or middle stage. If it can be helped, there will be no first stage Pokemon. All Pokemon that are capable of Mega Evolution will most likely be able to access it. With that out the way, let's set up our combatants. To start things off, we have essentially the Ash Ketchum of Mortal Kombat, Liu Kang. Liu Kang is a martial artist that hails from what is known as Earthrealm, where he is one of the strongest warriors. He is a member of the White Lotus Society and trained extensively at the Wuxi Academy, where he met his rival, Kung Lao, but we'll get to him later. Liu Kang is skilled in the ways of martial arts. He's agile, quick, and quite a formidable opponent. He won the first Mortal Kombat tournament, where he defeated the sorcerer Shang Tsung. He also went on to topple the feared ruler Shao Kahn, in which he punched a hole right through his chest. Liu Kang is best known for his use of fire, being able to ignite his fists and feet, launch fireballs out of his hands, and can even summon a fiery dragon to help aid him in combat. Knowing this, it's obvious that Liu Kang's team would consist exclusively of fire, dragon, and fighting type Pokemon that share the same burning fighting spirit as him. The first Pokemon that Liu Kang is going to have is Hitmonlee. The reason why is because both share the same inspiration. In real life, Liu Kang, from his character to his fighting style, is very much inspired by Bruce Lee. Hitmonlee is also based on Bruce Lee. In fact, that's where the Lee in Hitmonlee comes from. Not only that, the Kicking Fiend is also skilled in a variety of kick-based moves such as High Jump Kick and Mega Kick. One of Liu Kang's signature moves is the Flying Kick, which was taught to him by his teacher, Bo-Right-Cho, so it would make sense for Liu to have a Pokemon capable of pulling off the same technique that was taught to him. Lastly, like Liu Kang, Hitmonlee is also able to conjure fire in the form of moves such as Fire Punch and Blaze Kick, moves he'd most likely have on it. The second team member is going to be Medicham. Liu Kang is said to often hone his power through meditation, and supposedly, much of his power comes through meditation itself. Medicham does the same thing in which it meditates to heighten its power. Also theme-wise, Medicham is fitting as it if you look at its pre-evolved form. That pose it's in is known as the Lotus pose. Overall, Medicham just seems like a fitting Pokemon for Liu Kang. Liu Kang's third team member is Infernape. This primate is quick on its feet, has a hot head, pun intended, and if you read its dex entries, it has mastered a special fighting style, where it fights with ignited hands and feet. That should sound familiar. The fourth team member is going to be Charizard. Charizard is a bit of an overrated Pokemon, but I just can't stop imagining the idea of Liu Kang having one of these fire-breathing lizards by his side. It's a powerful ally that has a burning desire to battle the strongest opponents it can find, but it's also a very kind-hearted Pokemon that would never fight anyone it knows is weaker than itself, and I think Liu Kang would admire that in a Pokemon, as Liu Kang, being trained by monks, has been taught how to be humble and merciful himself. And just for the heck of it, let's give it the power to Mega Evolve into Mega Charizard X, to bring it to its peak physical power. Last, but not least, Liu Kang's last team member is none other than the vast white Pokemon, Reshiram. Reshiram is the flaming embodiment of truth. It's rumored to have the power to scorch the world with fire at its full potential. This Pokemon is just perfect for Liu Kang. I could easily imagine Liu having Reshiram as his trump card, only calling on its power when absolutely needed, and reducing his enemies to ashes. Next up we have the commanding officer of Earthrealm's Special Forces, along with the wife of Johnny Cage, none other than Sonya Blade. She's everything a soldier is made of, she's tough, patriotic, and is more than willing to lay her life down for her country, or maybe I should say region in this case. Sonya is a headstrong woman that often lets her pride get in the way, but also greatly cares about her family and friends, and would do anything to protect them. With her being a general and serving the military forces, fighting types would seem like the only Pokemon she'd use, but I personally think with her combat experience, she'd know it's wiser to have a more diverse set of Pokemon. With that, her first team member is none other than Braviary. Known as the Soldier of the Sky, Braviary will fight endlessly for the ones it cares about, no matter what injuries it sustains during the battle. It's essentially a war soldier with wings. The next team member is Magnezone. Earthrealm's Special Forces are known for their high-tech technology. Sonya can be seen with drones accompanying her that can offer support, so I think Magnezone would be fitting for her. Magnezone uses radar to scan their environment, and anything that's perceived as a threat is eliminated with a hyper beam. They're also capable of receiving and transmitting various radio signals, which could be a lifesaver if one found themselves lost or stranded. It would be a reliable ally for anyone on the battlefield if you ask me. The third Pokemon on Sonya's team is Octillery. Octillery may seem like an odd choice, but it's on this team not for looks, but for what it can do. Octillery is essentially a living turret gun. One of Sonya's signature weapons is a turret she can drop to her location to aid her in combat, so I think it makes perfect sense. She'd have the fish cephalopod equivalent to one. The jet Pokemon proves to be more versatile than a mere turret gun however, as it can fire off a multitude of various projectiles, as well as other attacks such as Flamethrower, Bullet Seed, Ice Beam, Sludge Bomb, Flash Cannon and many more attacks. The fourth Pokemon is Blaziken. Blaziken is a fierce avian that is known best for its legs that are strong enough to let it leap over a 30-story building, and allow it to perform various martial arts that primarily use its legs, along with its flaming fists. Sonya herself is quite talented in her legwork and sports a pair of gauntlets that allow her to shoot projectiles out of wrists. Sorta like Blaziken, they seem like a good match for each other, and to amp it up, let's give it the Mega Stone that allows for it to reach its Mega Evolved state, so it can be even more formidable. Her last team member is Cobalion. Like Sonya, this Pokemon is a natural leader, and its presence alone can make the most unruly submit to it. The Iron Will Pokemon is also a Pokemon of justice and anyone that hurts Pokemon will suffer its wrath. Sonya herself shares a similar sense of justice as she fights to defend the innocent and those she cares about. In the presence of evil, it just makes Sonya fight even harder, much like Cobalion's ability Justified where if hit with a Dark-type move, its attack power rises, making it more powerful. Given Sonya's long-lasting feud with her arch-nemesis, Kino, I'd say Cobalion is the perfect ally to pair her with.
"62 Johnny Cage dies? Is someone high?"
The next character we'll talk about is Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage is an action movie star, as well as a talented martial artist that comes from Earthrealm. He has a special power that was passed down to him through descendants that were bred to be able to take on gods, which gives him superhuman levels of power, and allows him to take on foes he normally wouldn't have a chance against. Johnny Cage is skilled in fighting, but is arrogant, cocky, and often spouts off one too many jokes to his allies' dismay. Really, I think Cage wouldn't care much about types. All that would matter to him is whether or not the Pokemon itself shares any personality traits akin to himself. With that, the first Pokemon on Cage's team is going to be Mr. Rhyme. The reason why is because Cage is no stranger to comedy. He almost never takes anything that seriously, and life to him can be one big show, and Cage is the host, so the comedian Pokemon seems like a Pokemon fitting for Cage. The next team member is going to be Hawlucha. This flying and fighting type Pokemon is small, but it packs a very big punch. It's able to take down Pokemon many times larger than itself, and its fighting style is quick and flashy. Hawlucha also has a tendency to showboat and likes to strike poses in the middle of combat. This Pokemon is a perfect reflection of Cage's overconfidence and arrogance in battle. The third spot on Johnny's team will go to Crocodile. Crocodile is on here because it just seems like a Pokemon Cage would have. It's powerful, and seems to boast a sense of fashion, as its facial markings resemble sunglasses, and well, Cage is always wearing shades. The fourth spot goes to the heel Pokemon, Incineroar. This fire-breathing tiger is egotistical, much like Cage. It lives for the crowd, fighting at its best when being watched by an audience. It throws powerful punches and kicks, and isn't afraid to go for dirty or low blows, very much like our friend Cage, who will go for the lowest of blows when given the chance. The 5th slot goes to the Order Pokemon, Zygarde, because I believe it's a perfect representation of Johnny Cage's inner power, a green mystical force that has the power to oppose gods. Though I have no idea how Pokemon like Zygarde could handle a personality like Johnny, but hey, I'm sure they'd work something out. Next we have the archenemy of Sonia Blade, Kino. Kino is the leader of the Black Dragon clan, a faction-driven group consisting of mercenaries and criminals. Kino is also responsible for the death of a former partner of Sonia Blade, which is one of the many reasons she is so obsessed with bringing him to justice. Kino arguably was the main reason Sonia joined the Mortal Kombat tournament, just for the chance to capture him. He's a selfish, brutal, and vile individual. His most standout feature is the cybernetic eye implant and metal faceplate that was the end result of an injury he sustained sometime in his life. With Kino, dark types would be the most fitting for him. Everything about him just screams the dark type. So with that, the first team member is going to be Muck, specifically a Alolan Muck, that has the secondary typing of dark. It's every bit as repulsive as Kano, nobody wants to be around it. The next member is Bisharp. Like Kano, Bisharp is quite skilled with knives, the only difference being Bisharp's blades are a part of its body. Bisharp are also very powerful and ruthless leaders, not even so much as flinching when making the killing blow. It also keeps all its pack members in check, to make sure they never think of double-crossing it. Kano's third Pokemon is Golisopod. Golisopod is a massive bug and water type. It may not be a dark type, but it more than makes up for that with power and ferocity. Golisopod have an armor as hard as diamond. They can slash right through seawater with their sharp retractable claws. This Pokemon will do whatever it takes to win, much like Kano, and when it faces a foe it can't beat, it makes a hasty retreat, so it can live to fight another day, much like the Black Dragon leader, who has eluded the grasp of authorities for quite some time. The fourth team member is Hydreigon. This Pokemon would represent the Black Dragon. It's extremely violent and relentless in its attacks, not stopping until its adversary is down. The fifth spot on Kano's team goes to Moltres, most specifically, Galarian Moltres, known as the Malevolent Pokemon. Not only does its red and black color scheme match up with Kano's attire, but based on what we currently know about it, this variant of Moltres messes with the minds of its victims. Kano does this as well. He's facetious, cunning, and very manipulative, even going so far as to backstab his own members, if it means getting what he wants. Kano is a man full of wickedness, so much so, it has attracted the Malevolent Pokemon itself. Raiden is the god of thunder, as well as the protector of Earthrealm, and one of the most powerful characters in all of Mortal Kombat. His power is so great that he constantly radiates with lightning energy. He can summon lightning bolts with thought alone, shoot electricity from his hands that can paralyze or incapacitate, form massive thunderstorms that alter the weather, and channel electricity through his limbs to strengthen his strikes. Knowing this, I think it's obvious what type of Pokemon Raiden would specialize in. Raiden's first team member is going to be Zebstrika. Zebstrika is aggressive, fast as lightning, and when enraged, shoots blue lightning bolts from all directions. It's also a callback to Raiden's animality, which is a unicorn, but an electric zebra is much more fitting for the thunder god. The next team member is Alolan Raichu. The reason why it's on the team is primarily because of its ability to control electricity using psychic powers. Raiden is able to do the same as he possesses psychic power, which is powerful enough to move objects without physically touching them. He's also gifted with other psychic attributes, such as premonitions and foresight. Also, a god like Raiden could benefit from having a little buddy like Raichu. The third member is Manectric. Manectric is an elusive Pokemon, rarely showing itself to humans. In battle, it creates thunderclouds that it uses to drop down bolts of lightning onto opponents. It's also said to be as fast as a lightning strike, and when it's hurt, it can heal and re-energize itself with electricity generated from its own body. When Mega Evolved, its electrical power is greatly increased, so much so, it has trouble controlling it. The 4th spot on Raiden's team goes to Thunderous. Thunderous is a thunder god in its own right, so why wouldn't Raiden have one? The 5th spot goes to Zekrom. The Deep Black Pokemon is one of the most powerful electric-type Pokemon to exist. Like Reshiram, Zekrom has the power to scorch the world, but instead of fire, it would do so with lightning. Zekrom is also on this team as it also represents the dark side of Raiden, which came to be after his battle with the Dragon King, Onaga, in which Raiden destroyed himself to defeat him. When Raiden was resurrected, Onaga's essence corrupted him, which now results in the struggle between dark and light within the Thunder God. Fortunately, allies are there to help Raiden when the dark side of him starts to take over. Kuai Liang is the name of the current SubZero. He is a member of a warrior clan known as the Lin Kuei that reside in the Arctic. The first SubZero was Kuai Liang's older brother, Bi-Han, who participated in the first Mortal Kombat tournament, but was murdered by Hanzo Hasashi, better known as Scorpion, due to being framed by the necromancer Quan Chi for the murder of Scorpion's wife, son, and clan. After Bi-Han's death, he was resurrected as the literal shadow of his former self, that was given the name Noob Saibot, although nobody has ever called him that. Kuai Liang has made a name for himself. He battled in the rebellion against Shao Kahn, fought alongside other powerful Earthrealm warriors such as Raiden and Liu Kang. He also mentored a student by the name of Frost, but she ultimately betrayed SubZero, and grew to despise him. SubZero is a master in the art of cryomancy, a skill in which he can manipulate all things ice. He can form weapons out of solid ice, release beams that can freeze opponents solid, and can even turn his entire body into ice. SubZero would train exclusively ice types. His first team member is going to be Beartic. Beartic is known as the freezing Pokemon. It can freeze over its fangs and claws to use them as weapons, and its breath is capable of freezing seawater solid. It often does this when it doesn't feel like swimming. The next member of SubZero's team is Walrein. Walrein has enough power to shatter a block of ice that's over 10 tons in weight. It has a thick layer of blubber that allows it to shrug off most forms of attacks. Walrein are also protective of their herd members according to the dex. They'll fight anything that poses a threat to their herd, even if it means death. SubZero's third Pokemon is Glalie. Glalie are able to instantaneously freeze the air around them. They coat their bodies in a layer of ice that is impossible to melt, even with fire. Their method of hunting is to freeze their victims solid, immobilizing them, and then eating them at their own leisure. When Mega evolved, this power to freeze things solid is amplified to incredible levels. The 4th team member is Articuno. Known as the freeze Pokemon, Articuno can create blizzards by flapping its wings. When it flies, it creates snow by freezing the air around it. Articuno is rather cold-hearted in nature. It only appears to travelers doomed to perish in the mountains, seemingly being the last thing they see. SubZero shares this cold nature as he seemingly lacks empathy for those such as his brother, who have suffered tragic fates. The 5th spot goes to Kyurem, the boundary Pokemon. Kyurem represents the power of the Dragon's Medallion, an artifact that SubZero claimed after defeating the cybernetic warrior, Sector. The medallion enhanced SubZero's power to levels he never thought were possible. Kyurem, according to the dex, has a power within it that can surpass that of both Reshiram and Zekrom. It freezes over its entire body to bound that power, as well as to stabilize its own cellular structure. Kyurem and SubZero are both formidable opponents that should not be underestimated. Hanzo Hasashi is one of the most well-known characters in the Mortal Kombat universe. He belongs to a clan known as the Shirai Ryu, the clan of highly skilled assassins. One day, the Shirai Ryu were attacked by their rival clan, the Lin Kuei, that slaughtered them, but in particular, the Lin Kuei killed Hanzo's wife, child, and Hanzo himself was killed. After death, Hanzo found himself in the Netherrealm, a place where the souls of the dead suffer for all eternity, but Hanzo, still filled with anger, fought his way out of the Netherrealm, where he returned to the realm of the living, and sought revenge for his murdered clan. After returning to the world of the living, he donned the nickname that was given to him by his now dead clan members, due to his skills. Hanzo was now known as Scorpion. Scorpion participated in the Mortal Kombat tournament for the chance to seek vengeance on the person he believed killed him, SubZero. The reality of the situation was that SubZero didn't murder him, but instead, it was Quan Chi who framed SubZero and killed Scorpion, as well as his family. Finding out this revelation, Scorpion set his sights on Quan Chi, ending the necromancer's life. After getting his revenge, Scorpion was still filled with anger and grief, but as time went by, he found new purposes in life, and let go of his anger, even taking on a student, Takeda, who became a new member of the Shirai Ryu. Hanzo, given his dark and tragic past, along with his motives being fueled by rage and revenge, dark types would be fitting for him, along with fire types, due to Scorpion's association with fire, specifically fire harnessed from the nether realm, which can be channeled through his weapons, most specifically, chains tipped with kunai blades, the weapons he is best known for. Hanzo's first Pokemon is Primate. It's temperamental, always angry, and never forgives those who hurt it. Its pure anger and rage formed into a Pokemon. The next team member is sent as Scorch. It can extend its body and lash itself at opponents at burning hot temperatures, much like Scorpion's primary weapons. Hanzo's third Pokemon is Drapion. It would represent the Shirai Ryu. It takes great pride in its power, and is also incredibly vicious and brutal, preferring to tear adversaries apart with pure physical power, rather than using other methods. The fourth spot on Scorpion's team goes to Houndoom. Its demonic appearance is fitting for Scorpion, as Scorpion is essentially a demonic entity himself. When angered, it spews out fire that burns enemies so badly, the pain never goes away, and when Mega Evolved, its fire can reduce foes to mere ashes. The fifth spot goes to Heatran. Its blood is like magma, with its body being so hot, it's melting in some areas. Combined with its monstrous appearance, it's every bit as terrifying as Scorpion himself.
Your soul is mine.
Shang Tsung is a wicked and powerful sorcerer. He hosted the first Mortal Kombat tournament, although at that time, he was under the servitude of someone much stronger than himself. He was cursed by the gods that caused him to age rapidly, but by feeding on the souls of others, he can reverse the effects of the curse that was put on him. Shang Tsung is relentless in his lust for power. He betrays everyone he partners himself with once he's close enough to accomplish his goals. He's a master of deception, and everyone else is a mere pawn in his schemes. With Shang Tsung's dependency on souls, as well as his desire for otherworldly power, he'd specialize in ghost types, but would have other sinister types as well. Shang Tsung's first Pokemon is Shedinja. Like the sorcerer, Shedinja is able to steal the souls of others. Also like Shedinja, Shang Tsung is a mere husk, least if he doesn't feed on souls. The next slot belongs to Arbok. Arbok is mostly a reference to Shang Tsung's animality, which is a cobra, but Shang Tsung will often conjure up a giant cobra to attack his opponents. Also the sorcerer has been called a snake at least once. Next we have Chandelure. Chandelure is best known for his soul-stealing capabilities. It feeds on souls, which fuel its fire. Also given Shang Tsung's lavish taste and fondness for parties, it would be nice decor. The fourth slot goes to Zoroark. It's a master of deception and illusions, being able to change its form and almost perfectly mimic anyone down to the last detail. Shang Tsung is well known for his shape-shifting powers, which is a side effect of his soul-consuming. The sorcerer can perfectly mimic almost anyone. The fifth spot goes to Marshadow. It may be small, but do not let its looks fool you. This Pokemon will slip into the shadows of others, copying their moves and techniques, so much so, it becomes more powerful than the person it's copying. Let that be a lesson, to never judge by looks alone. Well, that's the end of this video. Be sure to stick around for more. So until then.